So good morning to you, Brother Peter Mokaya Tabichi. You're in Kenya, and it's very good to talk to you this morning. Brother Peter, we are talking about teaching because our children across the world have suffered during the pandemic in terms of teaching, but I think that for you in Kenya and indeed across throughout Africa, there are problems in education, and you're one of the people who has been trying to make a difference there. I should tell people, first of all, that in 2019, you won the Global Teacher Prize, which is considered to be the sort of Nobel Prize for teaching. And you've been voted by New Africa magazine as one of the 100 most influential Africans. These are accolades that are very big and onerous perhaps, but I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about education in your world at the moment.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to share my ideas and thoughts with regard to education. So I'm still a teacher. I teach maths and physics in one of the rural schools in Kenya, Rift Valley part of Kenya. And right now, the students are in session, they're still in school. Unfortunately, there are a number of challenges in that life is never the same just before the pandemic. In that one of the challenges I've seen is that children are struggling, even the parents are struggling to pay for the school fees for these children. And so you find that at times, there's low attendance in schools. If it's even worse in private schools because they pay a lot of school fees, but in public schools they pay little. Just maybe they make their own arrangements for lunch, but they are still not unable to pay the little that is needed. So in general, they are not able to provide for themselves the basic needs. But at the same time, we have the pandemic. We have this, the virus which is spreading at an alarming rate. But I can say that that's that has made us to be worried as teachers. But I want to thank the different stakeholders, especially the Ministry of Health and Education, who have taken the some measures to ensure that that is addressed. So we have teachers who have been vaccinated, including myself. I've been vaccinated. Those are some of the measures, but still there are those challenges which they are facing. They were facing before the pandemic, and they are still they have been worsened. They have been worsened. So like during the closures, we had students who were at home, and that made them, some of them, to, especially girls, to have early marriage, and there was also teenage pregnancy and all of that. So some of them did not even report back after the after the closures. And another thing, we are seeing some level of indiscipline among students, which we have never seen before. Some sort of, I don't know, kind of indiscipline. I think that it has much to do with the socio-emotional. They were affected during that time. They stayed at home for quite a long time. So when they came back, we saw a different students, who are in terms of their behavior, and it's like they want freedom, and it's so it's hard for us trying to do the to give them support, but we're trying our level best, because I believe that as educators, that's our role. We are we are supposed to be creative and act as problem solvers. So generally, the pandemic has affected everyone, not just in the school setup, but even the community, even business. And you see, this has a direct, impact in the education, because the students have to get the basic needs, and this is, depends on how well the economic is, how how the business is doing, and all of that. So that has been affected, and therefore it means even the education has also been affected. But it has also come with the positive side of it, in that during the school closures, we as teachers and the educators, we took the initiative to learn, the best ways and on how to approach the challenges. And we had to even get devices to the students, so that we can be able to reach out to them, so that they're not just at home, so that they're not just idle at home, so they'll be able to also continue learning. But of course, there were some challenges, but we did something, we made some milestones, and it worked so well. So basically, during that pandemic, it was more on, during the school closures, it was more on virtual learning. So myself with other teachers, neighboring schools, had to give our students low-cost mobile phones, and also weekly internet bundles, and we could teach them from time to time, give them the coaching, mentorship, lessons, and also invite other people to talk to them. And we did a lot. We could even give them assignments and projects, and they could do all of that. It worked so well. So that was during the school closures. And right now, I still
ask you. Could I ask you a wee question there? You said that you bought them low-cost phones. Now, I'm very aware of the fact that you and you possibly don't want this to be said, but I'm aware that you have been using the prize money that you got for that award, and also that you donate 80% of your salary to helping the school that you work in, and the general community. Was it that source of money that bought those mobile phones that helped? Because I know that in some parts of the world, just trying to do that thing online with children during this period has been difficult, and often governments haven't been able to step in. So how did you do that?
Yes, so because I saw this was a need, I had to make quick arrangements, because it was like an urgent need. So I had to make quick arrangements. And as you have put it, it's right. I had to use my, my personal funds. And also want to thank the fact that I've been given awards, including the Global Teacher Prize. So I was using that to see how that can also empower the community, because even after winning the Global Teacher Prize, I thought it was a moment now to give back, continue giving more back to the community. So I saw this was a good platform for me to continue doing what I was doing, even at a large scale. And so exactly that's what I did, and because it was an urgent need, so we had to buy them low-cost mobile phones. And at the same time, we have to buy them weekly, because you cannot just give them the devices. If there's no connection, it's a big challenge. So we had to also spend quite a number of funds, but not big. It was quite, something that we could afford to each student, about 30 students. And each had a phone, and each was connected. And so the program was able to work so well. But I also tried to reach out to friends and other stakeholders to support the program. And yeah, it worked so well.
That's good. But I'm aware of the fact that considered to be an inspirational teacher in normal times, and particularly in science and so on. I saw a little video clip of one of your students, a young girl who said that she had been working on a particular project to create electricity through different means, and she'd ended up being featured in the local paper, and she was so proud of herself. And do you think that giving children that feeling of self-worth is really what helps to take them forward, whatever their intellectual capacity might be, that it's giving them that feeling of self-worth? Can I ask you to expand on that?
Yeah, it's very important, because you have to, the main idea is you have to develop their self-confidence, and that will raise their self-esteem, and they'll be able to see that they are good in this. You are able to unlock their potential. So basically, that was what was motivating me. I didn't know at the beginning. I didn't know that that will be achieved. But one thing I believe is that once they see that you believe in them, you have confidence in them, you are able to identify their gifts, you are able to give them their support, they are able to know that, they are able to realize that one, and they work hard, and they work, the two of us, as that kind of community, we work towards that, towards achieving that goal. So that's what we did, and we started to basically on a very simple setup. We didn't know that we'll go all the way beyond the sub-county, beyond the county, beyond even the regional level, and even national. So what was driving us is that, commitment, dedication, and believing in their great potential, despite the fact that they come from very humble backgrounds, and despite the fact that some of them joined the school with the low academic entry marks. That should not be like a stumbling block, something kind of to block them from achieving their dreams. So when you say a child, you should be able to see that every child has something that they can be able to do. There's something they can do, and they'll be able to shine. They only need someone to support them, someone to believe in them, someone to trigger their that what is good in them. And then after that, when everything is the ingredients, everything is in the right proportion, they'll be able to achieve it. And that's what I've seen with not just the one student you have just mentioned. There are quite a number of them, not only in STEM, but even the other areas like drama and other areas. But it's not just about, it's just about believing them, and believing that even the girls can equally do well as boys. So it's not just about concentrating so much on boys and then forgetting girls. So I have to be very 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 careful to ensure that there is gender balance, and there's equity. And what shocked me, I can say that I was very delighted. I was very very happy to see that girls were able to even outdo boys. And I learned a lesson that girls, once they are given the right support and given enough support, they'll be able to do so well. They go above and beyond what the expectations. So it's only that they need everywhere. They need that you to believe in them, not to have there could be, I don't know, based on the cultural beliefs that this is girls are supposed to do this cooking and I don't know fetching and there's particular roles. So once you get out of that and you believe in them, and I think that's what can happen, and that's what's happening here. Even the same girl that you have just mentioned right now is in the US in one of the universities doing science, a science course in one of the universities, and all the
wonderful.
time I'm in touch with her, and she tells me that she's getting top grades, and she aims to get, graduate with the top grades.
That is absolutely wonderful to hear. But clearly you have that belief, you have that enthusiasm to enable your students. There would appear to be a lot of teachers, particularly in poorer countries where they're perhaps not well paid, where they wanted to do what you're talking about, but that is kind of beaten out of them by the grind, the daily grind of struggling on low wages and poor facilities. What would you say to teachers to get back that enthusiasm? How do they maintain that enthusiasm so that they can do what you're describing there and enthusing students with that self-confidence?
So I think it's more to do with the being self-driven, because what you're doing, you can't do it because at the end of it, you are going to be rewarded. You are going to be someone who is going to, is going to recognize what you're doing. You don't have to do it because of that. You have to do it because it's our duty. It's our duty to do it. And all of us who are created for a reason, and we have a big, role to play in the society. So when you are doing that, that should be the first thing, that we are doing this because the focus is on giving the service, and then all the other things that come, is like, like upon us is an added advantage. It's like a blessing, and but it should not be like a driving force. That's what is making us do what you are doing. I'm saying that because if you are only guided by that, by the salaries, by the, rewards, at times they may not come, like the rewards, they may not happen, that may not happen, and you'll end up being disappointed. So just myself, I have a principle that you do what you think is best, and the only person who's saying is God. And it's going to help others. It's going to help not just on myself, it's going to help others. So God is saying, you get you're playing your role, and at the end of it, you're going to be, God is going to bless you. And then the other thing is that if teachers were to be paid in terms of, salaries and all of that, I guess it could be a lot, because they dedicate, there's a lot of commitment. Many of them are doing a lot of work, even like where I work, and my friends who are teachers, they're doing a lot of work, and you cannot compensate, you cannot do, reward them exactly, what is matching with the kind of workload, the kind of amount of work they are doing. It's a lot, they do a lot. So I think the most important thing is you serve us. It's like a vocation, just like the religious, being a brother or a sister or a priest. It's like a calling. You give that kind of mindset, and then other things will come. They just come, but they should not be like the only ones guiding us. And we have to have goals, have vision. Ask ourselves, why are you doing this? Are you doing this because, you graduated, and then after graduation, you are expecting the employment? Why are we doing what we are doing? Which means we'll have to be guided by some kind of vision and have goals. And once we have that, we have the right vision, that's when to guide us, and we'll be able to do the right things.
You made a change from working in a private school to working in the school that you're now in, which I understand is is in a very poor community. Was it your faith that guided you towards making that change? Was it your enthusiasm for teaching? Where did that come from, that you made that conscious decision to make that change?
Yeah, it is the same commitment. I'm saying that the same enthusiasm and trying to get out of the comfort zone. You don't have to be like in the, within your comfort zone to give you the best. At times you have to, be flexible, be ready, have to be flexible enough to go and reach out to other people. And where I was, I can say that they were better off in terms of infrastructure, learning facilities and all of the teaching facilities, in terms of like technological devices and all of that. They had that, even the number of classrooms. You cannot compare that and the current learning environment where I am. Of course, right now much has changed. It's no longer the same. Within a very short time, so much has changed. But now, just before the win and before these awards, it was like down there, and you could not compare. You could not compare. So I believe that at times we have to, take a risk and get out of our comfort zone and have compassion and love. And what we're doing, yes, you have to be ready. You have to face challenges. You don't have to choose, to go somewhere because of good life you are going to enjoy. You are trying to avoid trouble. Yes, you are trying to run away from trouble, but you will still get the challenges there. So the most important thing I'd say, it's more on facing the challenges, addressing them, because we are problem solvers, and we have to be bringing in the teamwork, the collaboration, the creativity, and all of that. I'll be able to get the solutions. But running away from challenges and then we want to go to where we are okay, no, you'll not be able to make a difference. I think you have to be in an environment where you are challenged and where you think, you can give your best, and you're working with the people, and then you work with people, and the people are able to appreciate, and you work together, and you get a solution. And of course that has to be guided by your principles, that's on values system. I think the passion and compassion, you have to have that caring heart, and of course love, true love, and your heart should be there, that you are here, there's a transformation, there's something that you are expecting at the end of this, we are going to achieve these goals. So that's what was guiding us, and the environment was okay, and the teamwork worked so well, and people were able to appreciate, what was happening, and things worked so well. And so where was it? It was a bit of better infrastructure and all of that. That was like 2-3 years ago. Again. But right now, if you come there, it's like it's the reverse. Now in terms of infrastructure and everything is the opposite now. So it's like, to me, it's a blessing. It's a privilege, and it's something I should really thank God for. Yeah. You're muted.
We lost each other for a moment. I'm sorry. Could I ask you one last question? Because I know that I know that you're teaching today and that you're in school. So if I could ask you just one last question. I know that you have met with people at the UN in New York. I know that you have spoken with world leaders in different countries. What would you say to those leaders about education? Where should they be putting that on the scale right now? What should they be doing for our children for the future? And where does faith come into that?
To our world leaders, I can urge them to give education prioritize education, and give it, the support it requires, not really trying to balance it with other things. So give it more, needs to be given more support. Like if you come across Africa, not just African, many developing countries, there are so many challenges. And the children, you can't say that they don't have anything. They have gifts, they have talents, and if they are given the right support, you'll see them shining like stars. And just a few examples I've told you, like one of the students who is in the US and getting top marks. So our children needs to be given enough support in terms of access to quality education, not just accessing education, because access is just access. So it has to be quality education. When you're talking about quality education, it has to be holistic, which is grounded in faith, the value system, not just, pumping to their heads the academic about the Newton's laws and the trigonometric and the mole concept, and forgetting that these are human beings who also need to learn about how to be transparent, have transparency, have compassion, be caring, being respectful, and seeing themselves as part of a larger community, enhancing that global citizenship. So I'll encourage them to support quality education and ensure that every child has access to it, regardless of where they are, their geographical backgrounds, regardless of what they are going through. We have refugees, regardless of what they are going through. So they need to be given support, full support, and even they are given the good support, they'll be able to shine, and you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see them, people who are also leaders that can address the challenges that the world is currently facing. Right now, we are seeing so many challenges. Right now, we are, trying to deal with the pandemic. And then there's another one about the climate change. There is hunger, increasing population. There is so many challenges. How do we address this? This can only be addressed if we educate this population, the young generation, and these are the people who are going to get the solutions. And of course, I believe there's a solution to every problem. So they are going to solve the challenges, and the world will be a peaceful place, because the overall idea is to make the world a peaceful place. To be like co-creators, and to be happy and make others happy. Yeah.
Well, I hope that world leaders will listen to your words, because they are most valuable. Thank you so much.